Have you ever felt like your happiness depends on someone else? A single call, a like, or a word of approval determines your worth. Let me tell you, this isn't freedom. It's an emotional prison. And the worst part? You're the one holding the keys. So how much longer will you live for others when you could be the hero of your own life? In this video, I'm going to teach you something that can change your life. How to live without depending on anyone else for your happiness. And no, I'm not talking about isolating yourself from the world. I'm talking about building an emotional independence so powerful that no one can take your peace away. We'll explore 11 timeless Stoic principles that will help you break free from the chains of approval seeking, fear of rejection, and emotional dependency. These keys, even after centuries, remain just as powerful because human nature hasn't changed. If you're ready to take control of your life and become the hero you've been waiting for, then let's begin. Be the hero of your life. Have you ever sat around hoping someone else would come save you? Like you're in a boat in the middle of a lake, holding the paddle, but refusing to row because you're waiting for someone to push you to shore? Let's be honest, no one is coming. Not because they don't care, but because this responsibility is yours and yours alone. The paddle is in your hands. All that's left is for you to start rowing. Think about Iron Man. Do you think Tony Stark sat around waiting for someone to build his suit? Of course not. He got to work. He took control of his destiny and became the hero he needed. You can do the same. You just have to realize you already have everything you need to become the main character in your own story. Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not what you have, who you are, or that makes you happy or unhappy. It's what you think." If you believe someone else has to save you in order for you to be happy, you're putting chains on yourself. But once you shift that mindset, you'll discover that you can be happy, strong, and complete on your own. Let me share a personal story. There was a time in my life when I felt completely stuck. My relationship was falling apart. I silently hoped my friends would rescue me, reach out, check in, help me through it. But they didn't. And the more I waited, the deeper I sank. It felt like being stranded in the middle of the ocean, staring at the horizon, waiting for a ship that never came. Then one day, I stumbled upon a book, and it felt like someone turned on the light in a dark room. I realized I had it all wrong. It was never anyone else's job to save me. That responsibility was mine. It was a moment of clarity, like ripping off a blindfold. I started reading the words of psychologist Walter Rizzo, who said, "The need for approval is a disease. When you give others the power to define your worth, you hand over your life." He was right. I had done just that. Let others define me. It was painful to admit, but it was also freeing. If you're going through something like this, let me share 2 small practices that changed everything. First, take full responsibility for your life. Not to blame yourself, but to empower yourself. Ask, what small action can I take today to improve this? Second, practice daily self-affirmation. Repeat simple phrases like, "I am enough. I have the power to change my life." They might seem small, but over time they grow confidence like seeds become trees. Remember this, the hero you've been searching for has always been you. You don't need anyone to save you, because everything you need is already within you. And if you want to protect this inner power, you must learn one more essential skill: how to take control of your emotions. If you're truly going to be the hero of your own life, then the next essential skill is this: take control of your emotions. Marcus Aurelius, the great emperor and Stoic philosopher, faced wars, betrayals, and political chaos. But he overcame all of it by focusing on the one thing he could control: his mind. If he were here today, looking you straight in the eye, he'd probably say, "You decide which emotions you allow to rule your life. You have the power. Don't waste it." Now picture this, or more likely, remember it, because it's probably happened to you. You're driving home after a long, draining day. Suddenly a car cuts you off, slams the brakes, and nearly causes a crash. Your heart races. Heat rushes through you. And without thinking, you yell inside your car, as if that will fix anything. But now, imagine seeing that moment through a Stoic lens. You take a deep breath. You ask yourself, is this worth letting my day spiral? The answer? No. You stay calm. Keep driving, and your inner peace remains untouched. Controlling emotions doesn't mean suppressing them. It means managing them with intention. Here are 3 practical tips you can start using right now. First, when you feel like exploding, pause. Think of a red light. You don't drive until it turns green, right? Same with emotions. Count to 5. Breathe. That tiny pause could be the difference between reaction and reflection. Second, shift your perspective. Ask, will this matter tomorrow? Spoiler, it probably won't. It's like getting mad at a movie villain. You know it's fiction, but it still affects you. Changing perspective is like reminding yourself, it's just a movie. Third, find a healthy outlet. If you feel like there's a volcano inside you, don't bottle it up. Let it out, but in a way that serves you. Take a walk. Write it down. Talk to yourself like your own best friend. These small actions release pressure and help you regain control without needing anyone else. And hear this clearly. You don't need anyone to calm you down. You don't need outside approval to manage your feelings. Once you master your own emotions, you become stronger, freer. It's like being the captain of a ship in a storm. The winds may howl, the waves may crash, but you still steer. And when you control your emotions, you control your life. If this content is helping you, consider subscribing, hitting the bell, and telling us in the comments. What step will you take today to be more independent and build your own happiness? Because we're not just sharing inspiration, we're growing with you. And to deepen your emotional independence, there's one more step, one that sounds simple, but often isn't. Learning to be alone and still feel whole. And once you learn how to be with yourself, you'll realize something powerful. You don't need anyone else to feel whole. What you truly need is you. So go ahead and plan a date with yourself. Think about what you'd like to do. A peaceful walk, visiting that place no one ever wants to go with you, sipping coffee while reading or writing. And most importantly, pay attention to how you feel in those moments. You might discover something surprising, because when you learn to truly enjoy your own company, your world changes. You stop chasing something outside to fill the emptiness and realize the void was never real. You've always had everything you needed inside. Everything else? That's just a bonus, not a requirement. So next time you find yourself reaching for your phone or looking for a distraction, remember this. You don't need anything more than yourself to feel complete. Let go of what weighs you down now. Picture this. Your calendar is packed with things you don't even want to do. There's always someone who needs you. A meeting you can't miss. A call that can't wait. In your circle of friends, you have people who bring more drama than support, who rarely ask how you feel, and every day you fall into the same patterns. mindless scrolling.
Avoiding important decisions, letting the noise of the world drown out your own voice. Then there are the fears, the ones that whisper, if you change, everything might fall apart. It's like being tangled in a net you can't escape, but
Here's the truth. No one else tied that net. You're the one holding it in place. You're carrying too much. Relationships that no longer serve you. Commitments that drain you. Fears that paralyze you. Habits that keep you stuck. It's like trying to run a marathon in a diving suit. How much longer will you keep this up? Let me be honest, letting go is hard, but hard doesn't mean impossible. And trust me, it's one of the most freeing things you'll ever do. It's like coming home after a long day and taking off tight shoes that were hurting you, but letting go of toxic people, fears, and habits. That's relief, multiplied by 1,000. Here's the thing, you can't control how others value you. You can't change toxic people. You can't wait for perfect conditions. But what can you control? Letting go of what no longer serves you. As Epictetus said, we control our actions, not what others do. So ask yourself, who's in control of my life? The answer must be me. Here's a simple exercise. Make 2 lists. On the first, what you can control, your choices, your time, your effort. On the second, what you can't, others' opinions, the past, external expectations. Now look at the second list and say, this doesn't belong to me, let it go. Redirect your energy to what you can control. You'll feel lighter, freer. Now, think of those draining relationships, the people who unload their problems but never listen, the partner who disrespects you, the friends who never celebrate your wins. Letting go doesn't mean hating them. It means choosing yourself. And when you do, you make space for what truly matters. Same with habits. If something you do daily isn't moving you forward, release it. It might be as simple as putting down your phone, or finally doing that thing you've been avoiding. Every small step adds up, and soon you'll realize you've always been enough. You just needed to let go. Letting go isn't losing. Letting go is winning. Winning back peace, clarity, and yourself. But once you've cleared the weight, there's still one fear that needs confronting. The fear of rejection. Once you've begun to let go of what weighs you down, you'll likely come face to face with a silent, deeply rooted fear. The fear of rejection. It's like a shadow, always following us even when we don't realize it. We worry so much about what others might think or say that we end up limiting ourselves. You don't raise your hand in a meeting because, what if I sound ridiculous? You hold back your opinion because, what if someone disagrees? But hear this clearly. Living in fear of rejection isn't living, it's merely surviving. And there's a huge difference between the two. Now picture this, a Stoic philosopher worrying about how many likes their latest quote got on Instagram. Sounds absurd, right? That's because it is. Marcus Aurelius once said, accept the things to which fate binds you and love the people whom fate brings you, but do so with all your heart. It sounds profound, but it's actually simple. He'd probably say, do your best. Love what you do and let go of what you can't control. Because at the end of the day, what others think of you doesn't define who you are. Psychologist Maria Esclapes explains that the fear of rejection can become a silent trap. It leads to behaviors that seem harmless, but slowly drain your soul. And chances are, you've fallen into some of them, always needing to be around others because you can't stand being alone. Constantly asking your partner, do you still love me? Like your worth depends on the answer. Holding your tongue in conversations, avoiding your opinion just to avoid conflict. These, according to Esclapes, point to something deeper. Emotional dependency, a state where you become a slave to others' validation. And here's the harsh truth: the more you depend on others for approval, the more empty you'll feel. I remember a friend who struggled with this. Every time he posted on social media, he checked his notifications for hours. If someone didn't like his idea or declined an invitation, he took it personally. Eventually, he hit a breaking point. He was emotionally drained. And that's when he started making changes. Small ones: choosing the restaurant for a date, saying no to plans he didn't enjoy. At first it was awkward, but little by little he realized rejection wasn't nearly as terrifying as he had imagined, and it didn't define him. So how can you overcome the fear of rejection? Here's a challenge. Start small. Ask for a discount at a store, even if you have no reason. They'll probably say no, and you'll realize nothing bad happens. Next, talk about something you usually avoid. Say no the next time someone asks for something you don't want to do. Sound small? Don't underestimate them. Each time you face rejection, it loses power. So let me ask, which challenge will you take on first? Comment below. I'd love to hear. And remember, you don't need anyone's validation to be happy. Rejection is part of life. What truly matters is how you see yourself. Who cares if someone doesn't agree? Who cares if someone doesn't accept you? That doesn't change your worth. And when you stop fearing rejection, something powerful happens. You start living more authentically. You feel free. You don't need outside confirmation, because you know deep down you are enough. And that feeling, it's priceless. But to truly protect your worth, there's one more skill you must learn: the power of saying no. In the previous section, we explored the power of saying no as a way to protect your time and inner peace. But now, let me share a personal story, a lesson I learned the hard way. During a major event I was helping organize, my friend approached me nervously and said, "We're a few euros short for the catering. Could you cover it?" In that moment, I didn't have the courage to say no, so I pulled out my card, paid for it, and smiled. But the truth? I didn't enjoy the event at all. The whole night, I felt weighed down, regretting the money I had spent, the time I had given, and the fact that I had let myself get pulled into something I didn't want. By the end of the night, I didn't feel proud. I felt betrayed, not by my friend, but by myself. Because I hadn't been able to say no, but that night gave me a valuable lesson. My time, my energy, and my money are limited, like water in a desert. If you give it away without thought, one day the well runs dry, and no one's coming to refill it for you. Now imagine this: a relative, someone who always assumes you'll do them favors, calls. This time they ask you to take their car to the shop and walk back home because they don't have time. What do? Before you automatically say yes, pause. Ask yourself, do I actually have time? Do I want to do this? If the answer is no, here's how to respond. You don't have to be rude or harsh. Just be direct and respectful. "I'm sorry, but I can't do it today." No long explanation needed. A polite no is enough. If they push back, stand firm. "I understand this is important to you, but I'm not able to help this time." The more you practice, the easier it becomes, and the more empowered you'll feel. Many people think saying no is selfish, but it's not. It's about prioritizing what truly matters in your life. Remember this: saying no doesn't close doors. It opens space for you to breathe. So next time someone asks something you don't want to do, pause, breathe, and say no with confidence. You'll feel stronger, freer, and more in alignment with yourself. And once you've learned to guard your boundaries, the next thing to discover is this: how to find peace in silence. Once you've learned to embrace silence, there's a deeper strength waiting to emerge, the kind that only shows up in the face of adversity. Picture this. A village lies in ruins after a devastating
storm.
Everything has been destroyed. In the center of the chaos stands a young warrior, his hands trembling as he looks around. He spots a fallen beam from the temple, massive, broken, heavy. Determined to begin rebuilding, he crouches down, clenches his teeth, and tries with all his might to lift it. But he can't. His muscles give out. The beam doesn't move. Exhausted, he collapses to his knees. All he sees are the shattered remains of what used to be home. And then his teacher appears. Quietly, he watches, then gently says, "You think this is your end? No. This is your beginning." Adversity isn't here to destroy you. It's here to teach you. Those words shift something inside the young warrior. Today, he cannot lift the beam, not
Yet, but if he trains, faces pain, and works each day, he won't just lift the beam.
He'll lift the entire village. Hold on to this phrase. Adversity is not here to destroy you. It's here to teach you. That alone can change your life. And the young warrior understood. He rose and he trained. Day after day, he faced his weakness, fell, tried again, until one day he did it. He lifted the beam, and then he helped his people rebuild everything they had lost. Now let me ask you, how many times have you felt like that warrior? Crushed under life's weight? Listen closely. It's not about what you can't do today. It's about what you choose to learn, so you'll be stronger tomorrow. To Seneca, adversity is the fire that tempers a man. Like forging a sword, it must endure heat and hammer to become resilient. Every challenge, every blow, every struggle, it's part of your transformation. Think of it this way: you're terrified of going to the doctor. The fear of bad news paralyzes you, but one day you go, you face the diagnosis, and even if it's not ideal, you realize, I can handle this. That decision, that courage, adds another layer of steel to your soul. So don't wait for life to knock you down. Build strength now. How? Practice negative visualization, an ancient Stoic tool that requires only your mind. It might sound pessimistic at first, imagining the worst-case scenario, but it's not about fear, it's about preparation. Think of something you deeply fear: losing your job, a family conflict, bad health news. Then ask, what would I do if that happened? How would I respond? What steps would I take? This mental drill lowers the emotional impact if it does happen, because you've already faced it in your mind and you realize no matter what, I can survive. True strength isn't about avoiding pain, it's about facing it with calm and resolve. So next time life tests you, and be like the young warrior who once fell but rose again, stronger than he ever imagined, because you don't need anyone else to lift you back up. That power has always been within you. And once you begin to tap into that power, it's time to ask yourself, what is the meaning behind everything you do? As you begin to build inner strength through adversity, you'll soon realize something deeper. Strength means nothing if it isn't guided by purpose. Now imagine this: you're reading a book. The main character leads an ordinary life. The alarm rings, they get up, rush through breakfast, dash out the door. They spend the day meeting obligations, come home, eat, collapse on the couch, and repeat. Day after day, week after week. Let's
Be honest. Would you find that story interesting? Of course not. It would be painfully boring. But now ask yourself, aren't you living that same story? That character is you. And here's the key question. When was the last time you asked yourself why you're doing all this?
Because if you're just surviving, you're missing the whole point of life. And guess what? You don't need anyone else to give your life meaning. That's your mission. Living without purpose is like sailing without a compass. You drift endlessly and never arrive. Even worse, you start depending on others to tell you what to do, how to do it, and why. Aren't you tired of that? Wake up. You don't need anyone to tell you where to go. That purpose you're looking for, it's already within you. Can you picture Marcus Aurelius just drifting through life, doing what others expected without questioning why? Spoiler? No. Despite the weight of ruling an empire, he wrote words we should all live by. Do every act
In your life as though it were the last. He didn't just live, he lived with intention.
and if he could do it, with millions relying on him, you can too. And here's something else. Finding your why doesn't just make life better. It helps you live longer. According to a study published in Psychological Science, people who discover purpose have a 30% lower risk of heart disease. 30%. If for nothing else, that's reason enough to start looking. Now you might think, but how do I find my purpose? Isn't that something only monks or visionaries discover? Not at all. You don't need a divine revelation. You just need a pen and a few honest thoughts. Start here. Write down the things you enjoy. What makes you lose track of time? Writing, cooking, helping others. Anything goes. Now think of what you're good at. What do people ask for your help with? Even if you're not a pro, what do you do well? See? Connect the dots. Find what overlaps, what you enjoy, and
What you're good at. That intersection.
that's your starting point. And remember, your purpose doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to change the world. Even small actions done with clear intent can transform your life. When you live with purpose, even the simplest task becomes meaningful. You no longer need others to choose your path, because you've chosen it yourself. So, my friend, stop going through the motions. Start living with meaning, because when you do, you'll discover something powerful. You don't need anyone to find your way. Everything you need is already within you. And once you've found meaning in your actions, let's explore something even more vital. How to stop depending on others for your happiness. Let me tell you a secret that can shift everything. Confidence is like a muscle. If you don't use it, it weakens. But when you train it daily, it becomes your greatest power. And the best part? You don't need anyone else to give it to you. Because here's the truth. Everything you need, you already have within you. The only thing missing? Starting the practice. Picture this. You're about to present a project. Your heart races. Doubts creep in. What if I mess up? What?
If they don't like it, what will they think of me? Now flip the script.
Before stepping forward, tell yourself, I've prepared, I've worked hard, what I have to say matters. That one sentence changes everything. You walk taller, your voice steadies, because confidence doesn't guarantee perfection. It gives you the courage to show up. Marcus Aurelius once said, "A man's worth lies in his ability to be satisfied with himself." He didn't wait for approval. He acted according to his values, not others' opinions. Can you imagine modern-day Marcus hesitating to post on social media out of fear it won't get enough likes? Exactly, it's unthinkable. The Stoics taught us that true confidence comes from living in alignment with what we believe, without relying on external validation. Let me tell you a story. A few years ago, a young athlete decided to compete in a national race. No one believed in him. Friends said, "You're not ready, wait till next year," but he didn't wait. He trusted himself. For months, he trained quietly. He faced fears, insecurities, setbacks. He knew he couldn't control the outcome, but he could control his effort. And that made him stronger. Race day came, and no, he didn't win. But he gained something far more valuable: unshakable belief in himself. That experience proved your worth isn't defined by outcomes, but by how much of your heart you're willing to give. Now, what about you? How many times have you held back because you didn't feel good enough, because you feared you didn't measure up? You don't have to be perfect to start, you just have to start. Here's how. Practice positive affirmations. Every day,
Write down one thing you're proud of, even something small. I had a tough conversation.
I stayed consistent today. These reminders are fuel for your inner fire. Step outside your comfort zone. Not Everest, just small steps. Speak up. Make a choice without seeking validation. Say hello to someone new. Each act is a rep for your confidence muscle. Remember this, you don't need anyone's permission to feel secure. You are already enough. And once you know that, something incredible happens. You realize you don't need anyone else to move forward, because the most important person is already with you. So what's the small step you'll take today? This is your invitation to reconnect with yourself, because every choice, every move toward emotional independence is your path back to the strength that's always been inside you. Because true freedom begins the moment you stop relying on the external and start trusting your own power to build the life you were meant to live, my friend. If you've made it this far, take a deep breath, pause, reflect. You didn't just watch a video, you just walked through a journey of awakening. From letting go of what no longer serves you, to finding meaning in your actions, from releasing dependency on others for happiness, to building confidence from within. You've come farther than you think, and here's what I want you to remember. You don't need the world's permission to live your truth. You've always had the power, you just need to use it. True freedom doesn't come from fewer chains. It comes from no longer needing validation to feel complete. Real happiness doesn't come from perfect conditions. It comes from how you choose to experience life from within, with clarity and responsibility. From today on, you're no longer living on autopilot. You are the one choosing your life. If that message resonates with you, I invite you to comment below. The strength is within me, so I know who the true Stoic warriors are, not just the ones who watched, but the ones who faced themselves with courage. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share this video with someone else on the path of personal transformation. Right now on screen, you'll see a playlist I created for you, packed with tools, stories, and Stoic wisdom to help you live with greater strength, clarity, and peace. Click it, and let's keep walking this journey together. Until next time, stand strong, stay present, and never stop becoming your truest self.